We're gonna build a king size bed today. My 4x4 corner posts are gonna be 6 feet tall, 2 of them. Save your 2 cutoff pieces, they'll be part of the footboard. Gonna mix up a little glue, sawdust, fill up any holes you got, let them dry, and then we'll route all the edges, sand it down, go get it ready to mount. We'll get the old trusty Ryobi out and round over the edges. All right, now we'll level this post up. All right, we got this post level this way and this way. Make sure of that. We're gonna measure over from this post 80 inches that way. And that's where we'll set our next post, is here, that way. All right, just to make sure that your 4x4s are the same height, the same distance, level, whatever you want to call it. There it is right there. We can move this out of the way, and we're going to cut two 2x4s 80 inches long, one for the top, one for the bottom. These are the 2x4s that we're going to cut 80 inches long that go across. Cut both of them at the same time. Just square them up down there and bring them up here, because they ain't always even. There's about 1/8 of an inch hanging over there, so we want them 80 inches. We'll have to plug the saw up. Now, to fasten them to the 4x4s, we're going to pocket jig them. Make sure you set on 1.5 inches, bits on 1.5 inches. Clamp it right here. Get the old trusty Ryobi again. I guess we could square it and make it look like something, huh? Alright, that's done. So now we'll measure the height of that we want our headboard, which will, in our case, going to be 48 inches. So, 48. From the top of here to the bottom of here is our 48 inches. This is kind of what we're going for. And we're going to use those nice 1x12s to put our perimeter around. So we're going to come over the width, 11 1/4, and we'll come over to 11 1/4 and we'll put a piece from here down, from over there down. We're going to need a piece 41 inches. And the second piece, 41 inches. Very tight. Remember, 11 1/2 out, and the center of that board is going to come here. So our next piece is going to be 11 1/2 down, and we'll go across between those two. So those, we'll do those next. Don't pay any attention to this board. This board just screwed to the wall, so I have something to get out past this ductwork with, something that I can be able to clamp the bed frame to and keep it secured. So this is not part of the bed. So the next thing we want to do is the same thing. We want to come down here to that 11 1/4. Same thing over here, 11 1/4. We're going to do it up this way. 11 1/4. And then we'll measure here. 53 7/8. And we'll cut 2 pieces to go here. And pocket jig them, put them in place. Now, we're ready to put some, what I call it, skin on it. 48 inches. One over here, 48 inches. So we'll square up the end of our 1x, measure down 48 and cut it off. All right, now we got to have something for this 1x12 to nail to. So we got to run a piece down to here, and we'll just screw it in on both sides. And it's 41 inches long. And what we'll do is we'll use some scrap pieces of 2x4, rip them in half. Because we don't need a full thickness, all we need is just something to nail one side of the 1x12 to. So we'll rip it 1 3/4 inches wide, screw it on. here we go. Put our nailers in with another Ryobi drill. By the way, Ryobi don't sponsor me. Good tool for a good price. Can't afford some of that other stuff. One more. And then it's the old Ryobi nailer. 1 1/4 brad nail was in it. Also works as a hammer. Keep your nails close to the edge, so when you get ready to run your trim will cover both pieces that you join together. All right, we'll put the other side up, and then we'll measure for the two that go across here. Now we'll get the top and bottom pieces, 57 1/4. Put one here, one down there. We'll cut them and nail them in. Let's get this piece straight. Nailing it. Alright. And then we'll do the bottom one. Alright. We're just finishing nailing the bottom on. We're all good there. We got to fill in this piece, and I got some 1/6 tongue and groove that I think we're going to put right there. So I'll have to dig them out. We'll be back at it. Well, we got these going on, but I don't want to nail them yet because I'm not sure if we're going to distress these along with the bed or if we're going to pull these back out and stain them with the top piece. So we'll figure that out in a little bit. Get this one in. All right, we got our color scheme out. It's going to be the gray and white distress, so we got this painted gray. We took the centers out. They're going to be stained, and we're going to make a 2-tier top out of a piece of 1x12 to go across the top, and it'll also be stained. And here are our boards that we got finished staining, and then we'll put polyurethane on them, and they'll be good to go. All right, while this is drying, we're gonna go ahead and work on a top. We're gonna have 2 layers up here. And then we know the bed is 87 wide, And our first layer be up here. This is 3.5. We want it to overhang 1.5 inches here and 1.5 inches here. So on either side, we need our first piece will be 90 inches long and 5 inches wide. The piece that goes on top of it will also have to be 1.5 inches longer than that. And we're using it out of one board. So we'll have a 90 inch long piece and a 93 inch long piece. And what'll be left over out of here is 6 1/4. That's close enough. This is our first piece. It's at 5 inches. We're gonna cut it off at 90. And then this is what's left over. And we're gonna cut this one off at 93. So we'll chop them both off, sand them, grout them, and put them together, stain them. Last of it here, painted the bed solid gray. And then we just take the white and streak right over top of it, just like that. And then we'll come back in and we'll put our stained wood in here and we'll put our top on. All right, put it back in. We'll just continue putting them in. We're just gonna run a bead of glue up here before we nail our first board down. That'll keep it from moving. We'll clamp it down from the back side and keep it from moving, and we'll nail it on. This is our first piece going on. I glued it down, and now we'll clamp it down flat and nail it on. All right, here it is. We got it on, got it glued, got it clamped down. We're just gonna let it set clamped for a few hours. That glue will dry. It won't be no need to nail it. It'll be fine. Now we're gonna make us some trim to go around here. We're just gonna take a 1x6, 1x4, whatever we got, turn it on its side, 1.5 inches wide. We'll set the table saw about a 1/2 inch thick, and we'll just cut strips out of it. And that'll make all of our trim go around there, and then we're gonna paint it and put it on. We got all our trim ripped, sanded down, and painted and dried, so we're gonna trim out the headboard today, take all that loose, and we got enough to do the headboard and the footboard with, and which there's the footboard framing. I went ahead and threw it together. That's the pieces of the 4x4 leftovers. It wasn't but that tall. Doesn't matter how tall you want it. If you want a tall footboard, buy another 4x4. Make it as tall as you want, as long as the width is 80 inches, because you'll find that out when you go to put the 2x10s down for rails. So on to finishing the footboard. All right, we framed up the footboard while we was waiting on some stuff to dry. This is just what we had left over from where we cut the ones for the headboard. If you want them taller, get another board, another 4x4. You can make it tall as you want, as long as from here to here, from post to post, is 80 inches. Because we're going to add 1.5 inch rail and 1.5 inch rail on the inside that the mattress sits on. And a king size mattress is 76 by 80. So when we put that rail on the inside of each one, we'll have 77 inches between them to be able to drop the mattress in the box spring, if you use a box spring down into. On this end, I took a 2x4, cut it, I believe, as far as my saw goes, 60 degrees, and just cut that off so it wouldn't be wide at the top, and glued and clamped this on, because you're gonna need extra space when you come in here to fasten your rail into. So we're gonna paint it, distress it. We've already got the inserts for the center here. We've already got them stained and drying, and the tops up there stained and drying. Now we got our footboard put together, got it stained, got it installed. We got our trim ripped and painted. So we'll put trim up around it, same way we did around the headboard. It'll look just like that going around there. And back here on the back side, where this exposed framing is, we chose not to paint or distress it or anything. We're just gonna take a piece of 1/8 inch Luan and cut and glue it and put it on there, and you won't see it anyway because the mattresses and box springs will be in front of it. All right, now these are our 2x10s that we're gonna use for rails. That connects the headboard to the footboard. We gotta figure out how long we want them. So we know we're gonna go up on the inside of here, 3.5 inches, and bolt it up and come down to the inside of here, and that's 2 inches, so that's 5.5 inches there. And the typical mattress is 76 by 80, so that's 85.5. So we'll give it another 1.5 inch plate, so we'll cut our 2 boards 87 inches long. All right, we're setting this bed up for a mattress and a box spring. And typically mattress height is anywhere from 28 to 30 inches off the floor. We're gonna set this one at 28. This is our setup. This is our rail that will bolt into here, and we'll screw those 2x4 joist brackets on. Run that 2x4 slat across 4 times, and that'll be our base for the box spring to sit on. So we need to know how far this has got to come up off of the floor. And a typical average mattress and box spring is 20 inches thick. And it's 28 to here, and you want the mattress to be here. So the box spring needs to be 20 inches, the bottom of it needs to be 20 inches off the floor. So that means you measure down from here down to the 20 inches is where your box spring's gonna go. So that's where your 2x4 would have to go to hold it up. So from there to the floor is 5.5 inches. So we want the bottom of this board 5.5 inches off the floor. I'll just cut 4 5.5 inch blocks and stick up under there to level them out. And then we'll be back. All right, we back. There's my 5.5 inch spacers all the way around all 4 sides. I set my rails on them flush with the back here. Flush on the end there, and I just temporarily clamped them up. They're 5.5 inches off the floor. We got our 20 inches with our box spring and mattress back up to the 20s. So we'll be at the 28 inches to the top of the mattress. If you want it taller, you don't want to run a box spring, just a mattress, you can raise this up and then put 2 pieces of plywood down and just throw a mattress on top of the plywood. That's the way my bed in the house is. It works fine. So now the mattress 76 by 80, so it fit down in here. So we measure these, our slats that we're going to put across. So from there to there is 76 and 3/4. So we cut all 4 of them. We just take the end off of it and stand it up at the end for a little support in the middle. And then we'll screw it in place, all 4 places, two screws to each one. And when the bed goes to its forever home, we furnish 1/4 inch by 3 inch lag bolts, 8 of them for each corner. When you get it there, you just stand it up, screw it together because it's already got pre-drilled holes for it. Bolt it up, put your mattress and box spring on, and you got a bed.